there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to Messy Monday, where I am using texture paste. We are using pastes all month long. And it is also Mix It Up Monday, which means we are using this sketch from at Scrapping Harden. Thank you, Christine, for doing this sketch for us. It was a lot of fun playing along with it. I'm also joining Crystal over at Pineapple Papers with Off the Board. And this is the mood board that I chose for today. So I've got some really earthy tones going on. And so I'm going to pull out some earthy toned items. Now, because it is Mix It Up Monday, and actually, because Mix It Up Monday does require you to use a little bit of mixed media, but it is also Messy Monday, so MK and I chose paste this month as our product focus. So I am using some paper glaze from Picket Fence Studio. I've got quite a bit of this in my stash. I don't know if it's available any longer, just because they have scaled back on what they are offering, but I am using this texture paste. I'm also using some gilding flakes. I don't normally use gilding flakes, but these were new to me. Somebody with one of my crops that I go to was getting rid of them, and so I grabbed these two little tiny containers of it just to give it a try. They're not normally something that I gravitate towards because they're super messy, but I thought I would give them a try, so here I am giving them a try. I did use a couple of sprays as well on top of my paper glaze because I wanted to kind of grunge up my papers. I believe I used a little Tattered Rose and one of the browns. I kind of think it was Gathered Twig. And then the paper glaze was Brown Dahlia. Those are the colors that I chose. And then I'm just using a little Nuvo Deluxe adhesive with a paintbrush over some of the paper glaze, and I am putting on some gilding flakes and discovering that I don't really care for them. They're just messy. That doesn't mean I won't ever use them again, and I'm not going to get rid of them because there's a couple. I just have these two small containers, so it's not like it's a big stash to keep. And I've got a spot on my shelf that they fit on, so I'm going to go ahead and go with it and see what happens. But I really like the copper effect, and I love the way they look on the paper. I just don't enjoy the process. If you know me, I don't really like my hands dirty, which is kind of crazy because I do a lot of mixed media. But these are just very messy, and yeah. So just using also some scrap paper from 31 Days of Cut Files. This is just an offcut from one of the papers from cutting out the kits for 31 days. And that's coming up in August. If you're not sure what that is, basically each day in August we are working with a different cut file that were designed by myself and MK. And so that'll be going on all month long in August. I did pull out some dies. I am using a Sizzix, a Tim Holtz for Sizzix die set, and I am using one die out of one of the Arden Creative Studio sets. The stencil that I used earlier was also from Arden Creative Studio. It was called Distressed Diamonds, so I used that for my mixed media. And then actually I think two of these die sets were from Tim Holtz for Sizzix. And just pulled out a bunch of foliage. You could use pretty much any foliage. I want it to be more like a natural kind of looking foliage versus a kind of like a wild flower, not wildflowers, but wilderness kind of looking foliage, rather than say actual flowers that you would find in somebody's garden at their house. So that's the look I was going for. I also pulled out a bunch of different sprays to spray those. I will list those down below because there's quite a few of them. And then I am also using this 3D impression die from Tim Holtz, and it's got some leaves on it. And I am pulling out another paste. This is actually a Nuvo embellishment mousse. It's actually the expanding mousse in mustard seed. I know that doesn't look like mustard seed, but that's what it is, and that's the color that's on the back. So you can see that there. And I just kind of added some water to get it a little moist, and then rubbed it on like I would if I were painting or dry brushing. My mousse are kind of on the dry side because I've had them for ages and I don't work with them very often. When you first get them though, you are able to pick them up and put them through a stencil. They are thicker than most of like the stencil butter or paper glaze or any of those. but you are able to do that if that's something, if you have them and they're new, basically. And the expanding mousse is actually supposed to expand. I've never been able to get it to expand, but I also don't use it in that manner very often. This is the manner I normally use it in. I just get it a little bit wet and then dry brush it on. So that little tool there is my my desktop vacuum. I have named him R2 Clean 2. He is available to clean up the mess from doing any edge distressing. He probably could have cleaned up all of those gilding flakes, whichever ones I didn't put back into the little container. And it's a great tool just to clean up that kind of a mess, because I don't have to clean it up off my floor. If I get it on my floor, I tend to step in it and then it gets tracked all over my house. So I just find this really easy and a great way to do a little bit of quick cleanup rather than having it again on my floor, on my lap, in my shoes, whatever. And so for like under $15, it's a great tool to have. So I have these two papers. The bottom one I believe is from Paper Rose Studio or Paper Rose, and it was from an Easter collection. I'm not even sure the name of it at this point in time. And then the top one is a really, really, really old Teresa Collins paper. It's a great ledger, and it's got that peach and turquoise in it, which goes perfectly with the wood grain that I decided to use. Now I do have 3 photos. These are of my niece's kids, her 2 younger children. And this is going to go in the little boys album. So I'm not going super feminine with it because of that. I want it a little bit more on the masculine side, and that's why I decided to go with a little bit of a more rustic look. I don't know what I will do if I end up putting it in the little girls album as well, but these are normally, my mom normally scrapbooks these kiddos, but she's a little, well, is there really such a thing as behind in scrapbooking? Anyway, I've offered to scrapbook some photos for her if she wants to just message them over to me, and that's what we are doing. So I am scrapbooking some of their photos as well to kind of get their albums a little bit more caught up. So these are the pieces that I had in my messy box, my mixed media box to spray, and you can see I am darkening up a couple of them. I've decided that I need some depth of color to kind of play off of the darker colors in that wood veneer or wood grain paper. And so I sprayed them with a little bit of ground espresso. Some of them are sprayed with a little bit of salvaged patina distress oxide to give a little bit more of the greeny look. Some are sprayed with some desert sand dilutions, shimmer spray. So yeah, using all kinds of stuff to give a variety of different colors to these wispy wildflower weeds, maybe they're weeds, I don't know. Anyway, I also pulled out a bunch of wood veneer from Some Assemblage Required. I have got the piece that says Outside was in one of her monthly embellishment boxes, so I don't believe that one is currently available. The other 2 are probably available. One is a wood round, which comes with 3 in a set, and then a little path. And so I thought those were perfect for this layout because they're on a path. There's rocks in the background. They're outside. There's a log there. These are, I mean, like I couldn't have picked anything better, right? So I went ahead and I'm adding those to the layout, and you're gonna, if you want to find the links to those products, they'll be down below as well. So you can check that out. Also down below are going to be the links to all of these hops that I am playing along with. There isn't a playlist for Messy Monday. It's just something that MK and I do each Monday of the month. And I try to focus on that particular product throughout the month a little bit more than normal. So you'll be getting more videos that include texture paste in them this month than you probably would most of the time. But go and check out her channel. You also want to check out the playlist for Mix It Up Monday, which is hosted by Tara over at the Paper Snob. She also has a Facebook group. You can check that out. And then Crystal hosts Off the Board all month long for the month of July, which means we are using a Pinterest pin from our Pinterest boards to go ahead and give us inspiration. So lots of things going on. You can check out all of those again down below. Okay, now that I got that all out of the way, I am just using my Nuvo Deluxe adhesive to kind of pile up my little fronds and sprigs and whatnot, adding varying colors and textures to each one of these different clusters. I've got some ones that look like sticks, ones that look like just leaves, ones that look like I don't know, not cattails, but those kind of I don't even know what they're called, you guys. Maybe wheat. They kind of have that wheat kind of a look to them. So yeah, just using a whole bunch of different things to give a bunch of different texture. I'm not going to add a journaling spot to this layout because there is a plenty of place for my niece to do journaling on the ledger paper directly on the background. So I don't need to add anything for that. And then my title is just going to be Outside. And then I will stamp the date on here so that the date is represented so they don't have to go back and look up anything for the photos. That is one of my terrible things that I do, is I forget to put the date on things, and then when I'm putting layouts away, you know, maybe once a year, I have to go and search for the date so I can file them chronologically, because I do put all of my layouts chronologically, but I don't scrapbook chronologically. So yeah, it's kind of a hassle, but if I can remember to actually stamp the date on it somewhere, it's not so bad. So I'm going to remember to do that for them. I don't know if I caught that on camera or if you'll see it in the close-ups, but hopefully you will. And then, like I said, I'm not doing the journaling on here. I'm going to leave that for my niece to do. I'm not exactly sure where they're at in this layout. They're somewhere probably in Idaho, but I don't have the name or of the location or why they were there or anything. So I really wanted to kind of showcase that your texture paste does not have to be forward and center to be enjoyed. It can be in the background, and technically, I mean not technically, but usually it is more in the background. It is not normally something that is always up front and center. It's normally kind of in the background, just doing a supporting role to give your layout a lot of extra texture, dimension, maybe some color, as in this case I've got that dark brown. So it's doing a job, but it's not necessarily in your face. Now later in the month, for Paw Hop, I will have some texture paste that is going to be up front and center, so you can come back and check that out. And that will be, I think on Thursday. So anyway, I am now using some little word phrases from Heidi Swap. These are from her old art walk collection, which was one of my favorite collections that she's done. And it's got some great sayings in it, so I'm going to put those on there just for some added interest. And I am going to call it done, you guys. That is it. If you have questions or comments, you can leave those down below. I'll get back to you as quickly as I can. I hope that you enjoyed this video today. If you did, hit the thumbs up button. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not already subscribed to my channel. And don't forget again to go and check out what everyone else is doing over on their channels for all of these hops today. Thank you for spending time with me. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I will be back again later this week with another video for you, so come back and check that out. See you then. Bye-bye.